What's going on, everybody? It's Sasha, your market expert here in Charlotte. Hope you're all doing well. And welcome back to the channel and welcome back for another video. And this is actually going to be an interesting video. I'm very excited and curious to hear your guys' thoughts. One of my past clients sent me a link to this video last week and said, LOL, we're glad we listened to you. So I clicked on it, and basically it's a YouTube video that you guys can look up. I don't want to link it or tag it. I don't want to put any negativity towards that. I read through the comment section, and they're kind of getting pretty tore up by the people that live in North Carolina, that live in Charlotte. But the title of the video is Top 10 Reasons Why Charlotte, North Carolina is the Worst City in the US. So obviously, if you've watched my other videos before, you know I'm in Charlotte. I've been living in Charlotte for over 8 years now. So I have a lot of opinions on this, and we're basically going to go over this list of why Charlotte is the worst city to live in the US. And I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. No BS. I'll be 100% honest with you and go over, see what I agree with and maybe what I don't agree with. If you haven't already done so, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave me a comment and down below and let me know what you think of this video. Am I wrong in some of these points? Is the other person that made this video right? And again, guys, please, I don't want to put any negativity towards this person. It takes a lot to make these YouTube videos, and they put in a lot of time and effort into it. I just personally don't agree with it, and we're going to go over exactly why. If there's anything I can ever do for you, any questions or anything like that, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. I'd love to help you with your potential transition to the Charlotte area. But who knows, maybe after watching this video, you won't want to move to Charlotte anymore. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with number 10 and work our way up to number 1 reason why Charlotte is the worst city in the US. So at number 10, they have traffic, and they said that Charlotte is the number 24th most congested city in the US. Now, this is a topic that I've covered on some of my other videos, and a question I do get asked a lot. Charlotte's a major city. Yes, we do have traffic. But relatively, when you compare it to other major cities, it is congestion at most. There are certain sections, certain areas of Charlotte that have more traffic than others, and obviously during different times of the day. Me coming from Ohio, this is a lot more traffic than I'm used to in Ohio. However, the people that I've worked with from California, New York, New Jersey, Chicago, Boston, Florida, for example, they tell me traffic here is a joke. So I hope that does something for you. But like I said, it's a major city. We're going to get traffic. We do have traffic, but it's not as bad as this actual video kind of made it look. But I will tell you, the way Charlotte is growing, the way the population's going and things like that, if you think traffic's bad now, it will get a lot worse in the next 10, 15 years or so. So the number 9 reason was no greenery, which for me personally, I find a little odd, but they do mention a lot of good points and stuff that I've talked about before. So as you know, Charlotte is growing, and unfortunately, because of all the new developments, new apartments, and the way that we're spreading out, they are tearing down a lot of trees to make room for these big developments, big subdivisions, and things like that. However, I do want to mention that Charlotte has an initiative, and they have a 2040 master plan. And as far as that plan goes, there is what's called a tree canopy action plan, which is basically a committee that, due to all the trees that we're taking down to make room for the new buildings, new subdivisions, new infrastructure and things like that, more trees are getting planted. So if you're in the Charlotte area, if you're driving around in a new subdivision or new neighborhood where they did take down a lot of trees, you'll notice that in front of each house, maybe in their front yard, or if not their front yard, the little patch of grass right over there, right before the sidewalk, there's going to be at least 1, if not 2 trees planted. Every subdivision basically has a minimum amount of trees that have to be planted in order to go along with the guidelines and the tree canopy action plan, because we're getting rid of so many trees. Now, I do agree we are getting rid of a lot of trees, but we're also planting those trees back in. Not as many, but we are planting them back in when subdivisions are being built. And right now, if you drive by, I mean, they're like 5-6 feet tall. So it's going to take them about 10 years plus in order to grow 10 feet plus or so when you can actually see that difference. Just want to let you know that Charlotte is taking initiative and planting trees that are being torn down as well. Now moving on to the number 8 reason why Charlotte is the worst city in the US is no water. So yes, we are not by a large body of water such as an ocean, but we do have Lake Norman and Lake Wylie, which are extremely close to Charlotte. So if you have a boat, jet skis, kayak, canoeing, if you're into water sports, you can get all that stuff at those lakes. These aren't tiny little creeks or ponds. If you go online, you can do a ton of boat rentals, which are actually relatively affordable. I recently looked at some. It was looking around $500 with a captain to rent it for, I think, 6 to 8 hours. And obviously the prices increase after that. But as far as this being a bad reason, I totally get it. But there's also some pros to this, which we'll get into in a second. However, Lake Norman and Lake Wylie should take care of all your water needs per se, unless you are an extreme fisherman or surfer or something like that. And while we're on that same page, guys, the ocean is only 2.5 to 3 hours away. You can go to Charleston, South Carolina. You can go to Wilmington, North Carolina. You can go to Myrtle Beach. You can go to the islands in Georgia and all that good stuff. Yes, they are a little bit of a drive. Like I said, 2.5 to 3.5 hours away. However, that's just a morning trip. And like I said, we do have Lake Norman, Lake Wylie, and some other surrounding lakes a little bit more up north from Charlotte. Moving on to number 7, Charlotte is the dirtiest city in the United States in regards to pollution. I'll be honest with you, I know absolutely nothing about this. However, I just want to say something really quick. Charlotte is a major city. We're not talking about the boonies. We're not talking about somewhere in Kansas or something like that. We're a major city. So please name me one other major city that doesn't have pollution. Let's move on. Moving on to number 6, criminals.
Charlotte is actually 6% safer than the rest of the cities in America, but that doesn't mean there is no crime there.
Charlotte is actually 6% safer than the rest of the cities in America, but that doesn't mean there's no crime there. I 100% agree. And as I just mentioned, guys, Charlotte is a major city. It's not the perfect city. There is no such thing as the perfect place to live. Otherwise, we would all live in the Dominican. We'd all live in Costa Rica. We'd all live in Hawaii. It just doesn't happen. As with any other major cities, yes, you're gonna have crime. Some places more than others. That's why it's so important to do your research and make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel so you know the places where to live. And like I said, it's a major city. Crime is everywhere and it always will be. Moving on to number 5, which was suckers, which is basically mosquitoes and bugs and things like that. And this one I actually do agree with. So in Charlotte, we're not in a tropical climate, we're subtropical. So we have all 4 seasons and we do have that humidity in the summertime, which we're going to be experiencing pretty soon. So with that are going to come the mosquitoes, all types of different bugs, the flying cockroaches and all that good stuff. So this one I do agree with. It can get pretty rough in the summertime, so I would take their advice. Definitely stock up on the mosquito spray. And if you're looking for a house, it's always nice to have a covered patio with a net to keep all the bugs out. Moving on to the 4th reason Charlotte is the worst city in the US is going to be public transit. Now this one I'm a little 50-50 on. When you compare Charlotte to the other major cities, the public transportation system here is not as good as some of these other major cities. Most of the people that live in Charlotte, I would say 90+%, are gonna need a car to get around unless you're living along where the light rail is, which right now is not a lot of people. However, I will say that part of Charlotte's master plan is extending those light rails and have them going in east, west, north, south directions to make the public transportation system a lot better. So all this is in the works currently. Hopefully we'll be able to see it in action in the next 10 to 15 years, which yes, is a long time. But if public transportation is something important to you, make sure that you position yourself in a place where that public transportation is available. So as I mentioned, this one I'm a little bit 50-50 on when compared to other major cities. We're not up to par yet. However, this will be changing in the future. Now let's get into the third reason why Charlotte's the worst city in the US, and that's weather. This one I'm a little bit sad to hear because one of the main reasons I moved from Ohio to Charlotte is because of the weather, and I absolutely love it here. I love the heat, I love the sun, but I don't see myself moving to Florida and or California anytime soon, or I mean maybe ever, unless I retire or something like that. So this one's pretty interesting. Now, a couple facts that they made was, hurricanes. So Charlotte, as I mentioned earlier, we're about 2.5 hours inland. The hurricanes that do come through, they're hitting a lot on the coast. The last major hurricane, I can't remember the damn name of it, but I think it happened in 87. That did some damage to Charlotte. However, we do get some of the wind and rain for hurricanes when they are here. It might rain for a week straight or something like that. However, as far as major hurricane damage or anything, it's something that always can happen and you never know with natural disasters. However, I've been here 8+ years. I've known people that have lived here for, their whole entire life. It's never really something that is a cause of concern like it would be if you did live on the coast next to a large body of water. Really quick, I do want to mention we have all 4 seasons in Charlotte, and it's literally all the seasons are mild. Summertime, it does get hot and humid around July and August, 90, 95 degrees plus with the humidity. Springtime and fall time are perfect. However, we do have a good amount of pollen for the 2 weeks once all the leaves start coming back in. Winter time is extremely mild. Now keep in mind, I'm coming from the Northeast, so I dealt with 5 to 6 months of winter. Here it's paradise. I don't really own a huge winter jacket or boots or anything like that. I can get around with something like this that's, a little bit layered and things of that nature. However, I will say this year, I believe it was the first time in Charlotte's history where we got 3 weekends of snow in a row. So when that does happen, we had around a 1/4 inch or so. The biggest problem was ice. So, black ice and things like that. When that does happen, you're not going to work, kids aren't going to school, and you're just going to be staying home and having a snow day. Reason number 9, Charlotte is the worst city, is the job market. This one I do not agree with. Obviously, if you're in the banking industry and or tech sector, this is definitely a place where you want to be. But I just want to say there's over 120 people a day moving to the Charlotte area. So I want you to think about this. If we have that many people moving a day here, how many of those people do you think have jobs lined up before they move to Charlotte? And how many are moving down here blindly and then looking for a job? My clients, myself personally, my wife, we've never had an issue getting a job when we moved down here. So this one I strongly disagree with, the job market. As I mentioned, if there's 120 people a day moving to the Charlotte area, do we really think none of those people are getting jobs coming down here? All right, now for the big grand reveal on why Charlotte is the worst city in the US to live, and that is, it is expensive. So guys, I'll be honest with you, it's gotten a lot more expensive than it was when I first moved here, and especially these last couple years, just like everywhere else. Now, when you're comparing Charlotte to the other major cities where it kind of competes against, we are well below the cost of living versus the other major cities. So if you're moving here from California, New York, New Jersey, DC, your cost of living will go down depending on what type of lifestyle you want to live. If you're moving here from Ohio like I did, Kansas, certain places in, Texas, Louisiana, or something like that, your cost of living will go up, and yes, it will be more expensive. But like I said, when you're comparing it to other major cities, Charlotte is still relatively affordable. And I do want to say, if you think Charlotte is expensive now, which certain things are and will be, you will definitely be surprised to see what happens in these next 10, 15, 20 years. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.